If you want to be successful in your career, you need to embrace the beauty of boring and doing the boring stuff. Hey there, it's Vaughan from Your Career Mastery. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because there's more videos coming out each and every week to make you a more successful professional. Now, I feel very passionate about making this video because I've seen in my own career some of the biggest wins that I've had have come from embracing the boring stuff and doing the boring things and not getting distracted by the shiny, frankly, bullshit that is out there in the marketplace that inundates us every single day in our jobs and in our careers in the short term and the long term. You see, here's the thing. For the most part in our roles, if we just nail the absolute fundamental stuff, literally the stuff in our role that is called the fundamentals, because if we don't do them, everything falls apart. They're usually mission critical things. So we need to nail the fundamentals in the day-to-day of our role if we want to be successful, if we want to drive business impact, and if we want to hit our KPIs and nail them out of the park. But many times the fundamental parts of our role are not that interesting. They're kind of boring, but it's very easy to get distracted and to get led down the garden path with the latest shiny thing, the new shiny rubbish. I don't really like shiny things. They're typically expensive and kind of crap. And the real buzzword in my industry and in many industries at the moment is all around artificial intelligence or blockchain. Although if I'm honest, blockchain has kind of fallen off a bit. Now everyone's talking about AI. And to a very large extent, the hype is very validated because for many industries, AI is already taking over and driving incredible efficiencies and doing in split seconds the kind of work that used to take humans hours and hours to do. So I don't want to downplay the importance of things like AI and new technology that's coming about. You cannot allow it to distract you from the core parts of your role and nailing the fundamentals. And while it's totally fine to go about building new components to your role, so if you work on the fundamentals as sort of like 50% of what you do in your role to keep the lights on, keep the business moving, it's okay to add new things to your role and to develop new areas of expertise and to learn about new projects and to work with new teams. That's totally fun. You absolutely should be doing that. But you want to keep an appropriate and proportionate balance of working on the fundamentals in your role to keep what your main KPIs are and what the key functions of your role are to keep driving them forward. And put most of your focus into that because typically our KPIs are going to be tied to the things that are most impactful about our role and the most critical parts and the fundamentals of our role. So you can't deviate from that stuff too much, but you should be adding new parts to your role to keep moving forward in your career and taking on new projects and working with new teams and building your network and building new skills, building new areas of knowledge. That's something you absolutely should do. But my key point here is that you need to be really clear on what you need to do in your role to nail your projects, to nail your key KPIs and have a massive business impact. And typically that will be nailing the fundamentals of your role. And typically the fundamentals of your role won't be the shiniest, glossiest, most exciting stuff out there. It'll be the absolute fundamentals that are boring, straightforward, but if executed correctly, will be the things that drive a massive impact and will help set you up in terms of landing a bonus, a promotion, and a pay rise. If you can't even get the fundamentals of your role correct, no one is going to give you a promotion anyway. So it's super important. You keep an eye on what is most important about your role. You need to know what are your key metrics and you need to keep in touch with them all throughout the year to understand, are my key metrics moving in the right direction? Are my key metrics going in the wrong direction? And if they are going in the wrong direction, you want to make sure you keep an eye on them and you course correct throughout the year because you should be putting most of your time and your focus into the projects that are going to deliver business impact and business outcomes. Because at the end of the day, that's all the business really cares about anyway. If you've taken on some new AI technology, but it hasn't really had any impact, and in fact, the fundamentals of your role have gone backwards, no one's going to care about this new technology that you've taken on, even if it's the latest, shiniest, glossiest thing. People want to see what's the impact on sales, on operations, on efficiency, on new clients, all that sort of stuff. So I would say at a bare minimum, 50% of your time at least should be on nailing the fundamentals of your role, and the remaining 50% can be split between new projects, other projects and tasks that will complement your key KPIs and your fundamentals. There should be room in there for your development as well, so working on opportunities that will stretch you, that will challenge you, that will keep you moving forward, but also still have a business impact, but will maybe become fundamental parts of your role 2 to 3 years from now. You want to start learning and building that knowledge base, even if it's not directly related to what you do immediately, but it might be in the future. And there's a favorite quote of mine that comes from a little guy called Thomas Edison, who invented the light globe, which is pretty cool because we still use light globes. And the quote is, "Opportunity is missed by most people because it wears overalls and looks a lot like hard work. And what he's saying by that is that most people miss out on the biggest wins, the biggest opportunities in life because it looks not very exciting and not very sexy and not very fun. He literally says it wears overalls and looks a lot like hard work, which again comes back to my point about embracing the boring. Find beauty in the boring, but find ways to make the boring fun if you can. I love to put music on during the day when I have to smash out some boring tasks that are super boring, but super important and super critical and super straightforward. If I don't do this simple, boring task, literally the main part of my role, which is the most basic function of it, will fall apart and I'm not going to get a bonus or a pay rise. So try and find ways to make the boring stuff enjoyable, whether it's who you do it with, how you do it, whether it's putting music on, if you change the scenery in the office or at home, wherever you choose to work, right? Make your space enjoyable, make your team enjoyable, find ways to make the atmosphere enjoyable, whether it's music or going outside, whatever it is for you. Make a cup of tea, make a coffee, sit down and just get it done. But embrace the boring stuff because that's going to be the stuff that's going to help drive forward momentum in your career, smash your KPIs out of the park and get you more success in your career, which is the whole point of my channel. So I'm Will Vaughan from Your Career Mastery. Hope you found this video helpful. If you got value from it, hit that subscribe button. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.